Hello, it is Sunday, July 19th, 2020. Just a quick update. I made a Mexican meatloaf and my oven will be dinging in a minute because it's almost ready. Ah, Relaxing day. I slept in. I did dishes, a load of wash, walked the dog a lot, took the dog to the dog park, and then I was just in the mood to cook and bake today. I love to cook. I'm not much of a baker except for bread. I am a bread maker. And what really has bothered me with this COVID-19 is that yeast, there's no yeast at the grocery store. And I've grown my own yeast but in culture, but it's a hassle to maintain it. So I just buy the prepackaged yeast, but I make all kinds of bread. Not muffins, just bread, like white bread, rye bread, whole wheat bread. Sometimes I make a cranberry with cranberries in it, or fruits and nuts, or different spices. I made a cheese bread today, but it's labor intensive, but it kind of works out the stress when you're kneading that dough. And I sometimes make like baguettes, or I make round loaves, and the condo smells amazing. And I was able to get some yeast a couple weeks ago, so I started baking bread again. And for those of you who have tried my bread, you know I'm a good bread baker. Now, I usually also churn my own butter to butter my bread with, but I was too lazy. I bought butter. But usually the bread is, when you have homemade bread, you don't need anything on it. I mean, you can put butter on it, but it's not even necessary when it comes out just right. And then, as I said, I made my Mexican meatloaf. So it's like a meatloaf, but I used all kinds of Mexican spices into it. So it'll have more of a Mexican flavor. So yeah, I've just been a homemaker today and nothing else to report. I was checking out the COVID numbers. Florida, my God. I thought we had it bad in Texas. Florida has just gone through the roof. They beat Texas. We've slipped to number 4. We were number 3 in the country. We're down to number 4. Dallas, unfortunately, this was the deadliest week we've had this last week, and there's no end to it. Gotta hang in there. That's all we can. I think we're going to look back in this period in history and be in shock as to how our government didn't do anything. It'll go down as a big blemish in American history. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then the other bit of news, the people that are still denying are out there. I had a Facebook back and forth with somebody who was asking, do you know anybody who's died of this disease or known people with it? Well, I have. And so I made the comment, and then somebody actually replied to my comment saying that it's all made up, it's exaggerated by the press, it isn't that bad, and it's just like the flu. The fact that we're this far into this disease and there's still these deniers, and I replied back to her, is obviously you're fortunate enough that you've not run across someone who's died from it, or who has been sick with it, or met people who have been maimed by this disease, because that to me is what's getting so underreported, is the amount of people that have had strokes, the COVID strokes, that are wheelchair bound. You know, everybody's worried about the mortality rate, but what about the rate of maiming, permanent damage to the body and it's affecting younger people? You know, the young people don't die from it, but they get the strokes, they become paralyzed, they end up with, limbs being amputated. It's just devastating. And so they got cured of COVID, but they're crippled for life. That to me is so frightening, because that number is out there and it's higher than the death rate. And people don't think about it. I'll get over it. Yeah, yes, the odds are in your favor, but 20% of the cases end up getting hospitalized or getting seriously ill. So yes, you do recover, but there's a big chunk that does. And then out of that, about 3% will end up with a permanent disability from this disease. So you may have the 2% mortality, 2 to 3% mortality rate, but then you got this 3%, maimed for life. And if you told me that if I walk in the room, my odds are 1 in 30 that I'm going to have to leave in a wheelchair. I would never walk into a room with my thinking that my odds are 1 in 30 that something's going to happen to me in a room that will permanently disable me. And that's what this disease is. So there's this big group of people out there that don't realize it. And I was looking at the footage of different places in Astoria, New York, and in Nashville, Tennessee, of all these young people hanging out on the street, most without masks, congregating, and it's just making it worse. I want to reopen my theater, but at the rate we're going, I'm not going to be able to. And I miss acting. So that's my complaint for the day. Well, I noticed that this video is at the 5.5 minute mark, more or less, right now. So that means my alarm is about to go off in the kitchen. So for my meatloaf. So I'm going to make myself dinner. So please like and subscribe. Thank you again for the new subscriptions. Yay. Share this video if you want. I'm doing my daily chronicles of living with the coronavirus. So, and just different musings and experiences as a middle-aged gay man that can't date because of the virus. Oh, well. So if you watch this tonight, have a good evening. If you watch it tomorrow or during the day or in the afternoon, good afternoon or good evening. And wear those masks. Bye.